for Congress is Ginger Cruz.
I'm Ginger Cruz. I approve this message, and I humbly ask for your vote.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam.
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Apply at matson.com. New Jeep Gladiators up to $7,000 off now at Cars Plus. Named the best vehicle for adventure in 2024. Get your Jeep Gladiator today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime. The candidates for Guam delegate go head-to-head in the KUAM News 2024 congressional debate overnight. KUAM releasing an Instagram poll to find out who you think won the debate. Plus, the Chief Brody Elementary School teacher outraged after broken promises that students would be allowed to return to campus soon. And tempers flaring during a Guam Memorial Hospital oversight hearing. GMH leadership asking senators to show them the money as they remain in the red.
Hafa adai and good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Destiny Cruz. Thanks so much for making us a part of your day.
Well, abortion services remain legal in Guam. This
after the U.S. Supreme Court denied a petition seeking to overturn the Guam Supreme Court's decision that Guam Public Law 20-134, a 1990 abortion ban, had been repealed by laws the Guam legislature subsequently passed. Attorney General Doug Moylan filed the petition. As KUAM reported, the AG sought to vacate a permanent injunction that has prevented the imposition of a 1990 abortion ban on Guam. The AG cites the Supreme Court's June 2022 Dobbs ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade and argues that there is no longer any basis in law to support the permanent injunction. The Guam Supreme Court's decision remains in place.
In response to SCOTUS declining to hear the appeal, Governor Lulian Guerrero states it is time to finally put this issue to rest, and now women can have access to safe and legal abortions. AG Doug Moylan, in part, telling KUAM we are in the process of discussing the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals appeal with our mainland attorneys regarding the U.S. District Court of Guam 2023 decision. You can read his full statement now on KUAM.com.
The candidates for Guam delegate took the podium inside the Encore Theater at the Crown Plaza Resort in Tumon overnight.
In their first debate ahead of the general election, there was no holding back from either side as candidates spoke on issues important to the island.
From military buildup concerns.
Every concern that is brought from the island is relayed back to the Joint Regional Marianas. It's important for the military to ensure that this is done correctly. We want the buildup to happen for the protection of the island, but most importantly, we want to make sure it's done right.
I would have an open door policy to ensure that the issues that are faced for our environment and for our land must be respected and must be incorporated. And I believe that the U.S. military will listen to those and will incorporate them, but it has to be done through aggressive dialogue
to keeping the tip of the spear safe.
We need to take care of the homeland. Right now, we need to be fighting for significantly more help for both civil defense, homeland security, and our National Guard so that we can ensure that we are prepared.
Candidates for Guam delegate James Moylan and Ginger Cruz face off in their first debate ahead of the November 5th general election.
To promote economic growth, the first thing that we need to do is we need to look to Asia, because that is an area where the federal government is doing more and more work. They are building up opportunities in the Philippines, in Korea, and Japan, and it's right next to Guam because we are America in the Pacific. So we need to start looking to the areas that are close to us and make Guam the bridge so that we're not only a military buildup location for the United States, so that we are an economic buildup location.
Again, we make Guam safe. Asia definitely wants to come and be part of this. We need to make it less expensive for them to come. We need our ports, we need the shipping lines to come in as well. this is important to start business going. When as a senator, in the 35th and 36th Guam legislature, we also looked at tax breaks for these companies to come as well. There's continuous opportunities, make Guam safe, make it safe for the people of Guam, make it safe for investors to come to Guam, and we can protect this Indo-PACOM area.
Both also addressing questions about utilities, the economy, and education, among many more in the 90-minute debate. By the end of it, Cruz shared her key moments via press release claiming she outperformed the incumbent. Moylan's post-debate response taking a different tone, stating he was happy to share his accomplishments.
We will have more coverage from the debate throughout this week. You can watch the debate now on KUAM's Facebook and YouTube channel.
And there will be another chance to see the delegate candidates face off during the candidate forum presented by the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association. The forum will be held on October 24th at 5 p.m. inside the Hyatt Regency Guam in Tumon. Tickets are now on sale at guamwomenschamber.com.
Well, who do you think won the KUAM News congressional debate? Was it the incumbent James Moylan or his opponent, Ginger Cruz?
We are asking you to head over to our Instagram page at KUAM News to vote for which candidate you think put their best foot forward. Unlike the KUAM News election poll that was live for the past 2 weeks, this IG poll will only be available for 24 hours on our IG story. We will bring you the results of how you voted tomorrow on primetime. You can also review the results of the election poll on KUAM.com. Well, this week on The Hub, we have 5 senatorial candidates scheduled to appear in our KUAM studios. Under the Republican ticket are incumbents Frank Blas Jr., Chris Duenas, and newcomers Sean Gumatauto and William Payne.
In the Democrat race, we've got incumbent Sabina Perez here what these 5 senatorial candidates have to say as they each take questions from you, the voters. The Hub airs every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. following primetime.
Now to the race for the White House entering its final stretch, with the election now less than a month away.
Both campaigns ramping up their travel to battleground states this week as Vice President Harris faces tough questions about her economic policies. Gabe Gutierrez has the latest.
Tonight, after facing criticism for avoiding unscripted events, Vice President Harris on a new media blitz. On CBS, pressed on her economic plan.
How are you going to pay for it?
Well, one of the things is I'm going to make sure that the richest among us who can afford it pay their fair share in taxes.
But we're dealing with the real world here.
But the real world includes...
How are you going to get this through Congress?
You know, when you talk quietly with a lot of folks in Congress, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Meanwhile, former President Trump, who's called for the mass deportation of migrants, is igniting new controversy by suggesting undocumented immigrants convicted of murder have bad genes.
You know, now a murderer, I believe this, it's in their genes. And we got a lot of bad genes in our country right now.
That type of language is hateful, it's disgusting, it's inappropriate, and has no place in our country.
The Trump campaign tonight saying the former president was clearly referring to murderers, not migrants, while Trump is also slamming the Biden-Harris administration over their response to Hurricane Helene, saying they're not getting help to devastated communities fast enough.
Kamala Harris has left them stranded. They send hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign nations, and you know what they're giving our people? $750.
The White House says that's not true. The $750 is only an upfront payment for emergency costs, while FEMA assesses people's eligibility for more. Some $200 million have been allocated so far.
In other news, the busy bees of Chief Brody Elementary remain in limbo as public health gave their Tumuning campus the green light, while education officials are still waving a stop sign to return home.
A veteran teacher with 30 years of experience at Chief Brody is now speaking out, expressing frustration over what she sees as broken promises and inadequate learning conditions.
Chief Brody Memorial Elementary School was buzzing with news last Friday.
We got that notice from our principal. We passed.
The Tumuning campus finally getting approval from public health, but days later they're still sharing space with Juan M. Guerrero Elementary.
We were devastated. We were absolutely devastated.
Melinda Burke, an ESL teacher at Chief Brody, says they feel unhappy at the Dededo campus and tolerated, not welcome.
We had one staff member told, why don't you go back to your own school?
Burke also raising concern about subpar conditions at the Dededo campus, including a D rating from public health.
J.M. Guerrero had a C. And when they heard about students being in classrooms in a condemned area, they came back, and because of the awnings, and I guess they found some other things while they were here, they bumped them down to a D.
Guam Department of Education Superintendent Dr. Kenneth Swanson previously confirmed to lawmakers that funds have been secured to replace canopies leading to those classrooms. Meanwhile, Chris Anderson, GDOE Student Support Administrator, also shedding light on JMG's D rating, assuring the school has less than 40 demerits, which is still a passing grade.
Those rooms were identified to not be used when the initial inspection took place, and then they were notified that the rooms were being used without public health coming back and doing the inspection to clear them to be used.
Education officials also acknowledging that Chief Brody doesn't have all the equipment they need, while in the same breath contending Burke's issue of teaching in a library storeroom was resolved by the second week of school. Now only time will tell what the fate of Chief Brody Elementary School will be, as a meeting is underway between Chief Brody, JMG teachers, and the superintendent this Wednesday.
Well, the home of the Dolphins at Southern High School are swimming back to Santa Rita today for the first day of in-person classes after passing public health inspections Monday. It's a significant milestone as Southern High School is the only public high school serving the southern part of the island, according to Principal Michael Menno. In an interview with KUAM, Menno reflecting on the excitement of reaching this point as one of the last Guam Department of Education schools to pass public health inspections.
I think that was the biggest emotion that we enjoyed today, is to see the smiles on the students. So all of that hard work, once we saw the smiling kids, it's like everything that we struggled with went away.
Repairs continue at the Santa Rita campus, including roofing, bathroom renovations, electrical updates, and other necessary maintenance. Menno adding his deepest gratitude to everyone who contributed to bringing the Dolphins back into the classroom.
And we'll be right back.
Island Cancer Center has the only state-of-the-art Halcyon Linear Accelerator, providing radiation treatments in the Asia-Pacific region. We are excited to be back up and running after Typhoon Mawar. We have been providing the highest quality patient-centered care for 14 years and will continue to do so. Why? Because we love what we do. Island Cancer Center, our family treating your family. Visit us at islandcancercenter.com or call 671-646-3363.
What's that?
That's the Taco Bell Cantina chicken.
Okay, well, please tell me you're using a condiment.
Yeah, avocado verde salsa.
Oh, we believe in mayo. This is how we chicken in this house.
I don't see a pickle on it.
Maybe we don't want a pickle on it.
Okay, all right.
Traditionalists. They're in every family.
Dad, please.
Sometimes common ground is just one bite away.
What?
I can feel again.
I love you, Dad.
I love you. Taco Bell Cantina chicken burrito.
Welcome back to Primetime. A dispute over retirement benefits in the Northern Marianas reached the Ninth Circuit.
Regional correspondent Tomas Manglotny reports on the hearing in Hawaii today.
The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit in Hawaii heard the case of Rosa A. Camacho versus NMI Settlement Fund on Tuesday over a dispute regarding cost of living adjustments between the CNMI government and retirees.
She accrued the interest in COLA. It's protected by the Commonwealth Constitution, and she should be paid it. And her pension should be adjusted to accordingly to that.
Rayfend explained that Camacho retired in 1991. She turned 55 in 2006 and received a cost of living adjustment from 2007 through 2010. However, it ended after a Senate bill was signed into law in 2011, eliminating the cost of living increases.
So I'm just trying to figure out how she could be entitled to any COLA benefit greater than what she was statutorily permitted in 1991 at the time of her retirement.
The statute says that her membership continues to be a member after she retires, and an accrued benefit accrues during her membership. Therefore, she continued to be a member, and therefore her benefit, she was entitled to the benefit after she retired also.
The NMI Settlement Fund presented its case and responded to questions.
The Constitution prohibits benefits from being diminished or impaired. It doesn't prohibit parties from contractually agreeing to alter, which is what the settlement agreement does. COLA payments are subject to appropriation. They're only due if there's an appropriation.
Tomas Manglonia, KUAM News, Saipan.
A man who allegedly threatened to kill employees of the FBI, Department of Homeland Security Investigations, and the Guam Attorney General's office has taken federal prosecutors' plea deal. Defendant Nicholas Pinella is set to admit to multiple counts of transmission of interstate threats in the District Court of Guam. Prosecutors say in August of 2023, Pinella sent the threats through the FBI's online tip submission website, indicating he knew where their offices were located in Guam. He also sent emails to Guam Attorney General's office threatening to kill employees. Pinella, who faces a max 5 years in prison, is scheduled to appear in court on Thursday.
A man is arrested in connection to a robbery reported at the Dairy Mart in Manilao. Randy Chargoloff is charged with third-degree robbery. Court documents state the defendant took off with stolen items when the cashier gave chase. That's when Chargoloff allegedly tried to hit the cashier with a car door as he made his getaway. The cashier fell to the ground as the then suspect took off. He apologized after police later tracked him down and took him into custody.
Well, how much more funding does the Guam Memorial Hospital really need to fully operate, and can the legislature afford it?
Hospital leadership telling senators they need more money to keep the island's only public hospital afloat. Mitsuki Hirayama has more.
The Guam Memorial Hospital is already millions of dollars in the red going into the new fiscal year, on top of a budget shortfall threatening to shut down services. Despite last year's $30 million bailout, Chief Financial Officer Yuka Hechanova tells senators they're still behind on vendor payments during an oversight hearing Monday.
We're $15 million in the hole already entering the fiscal year. What's going to pay for that?
Hospital Administrator Lillian Posadas admits it can cause a supply shortage.
To be honest, to be truthful, we do have shortages, especially when we are behind with paying the vendors. Then they don't deliver the supplies or they limit us.
Board of Trustees member Dr. Teresa Borja reminds senators the public hospital received only about half of their $74 million budget request.
What do you want us to do? You want a walkout of all our people? I mean, how much more do you think we can take?
Since then, GMH leadership have been figuring out ways to cut down on expenses and increase revenue, like cutting personnel to include travel nurses and an amnesty period for self-pay patients. But they're still facing a $24 million shortfall. GMH asking senators for a $20 million supplemental funding that the governor is also advocating for.
We really need the $20 million. With our projected revenues right now, it would really only be enough to cover payroll and not even cover the doctor's pay.
But Speaker Therese Terlahi questions if that will be enough.
So the shortfall $24 million does not include the vendor payable?
No, it does not. It's really just for the fiscal year, for the 12 months.
Does the governor know that?
I haven't had a chance to sit and talk with the governor.
Because she's also only advocating for $20 million.
Tempers flaring as Senator Frank Blas Jr. points the finger to the administration.
I know, we understand your plight. We understand it. And when the speaker talks about the mixed messaging, When you come to us and say we need $74 million, and we're looking at the governor's budget, and it doesn't reflect that, where's the priority?
Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News. The Toru Guam Foundation is one of the nonprofit organizations that relies on the support of the Guam Cancer Trust Fund. But with the fiscal year 2025 budget underfunding the trust fund by $2 million, what is to become of the services provided to those afflicted with cancer?
Jonah Charfris shares what is at stake for the foundation, who's dedicated to addressing health disparities and promoting health equity on Guam.
Our foundation and you know what we stand for, and really what we believe is early detection, prevention is the best solution.
Formed in 2016, the Toru Guam Foundation is led by former Senator Dennis Rodriguez Jr. and his wife Lena. The Toru Guam Foundation has garnered widespread recognition not only locally, but also nationally for its unwavering commitment to its mission of delivering vital primary health care, education, and support to our community. For the past 2 years, the foundation has been a beneficiary of the Guam Cancer Trust Fund, with focus on increasing women's health care and screening for cervical cancer. Rodriguez adding in the first year, they were able to perform over 1,000 pap smears.
One of the biggest things we were able to do with the support of the Guam Cancer Trust Fund was to bring in gynecologists.
Like a handful of nonprofit organizations which provide cancer-related services and programs, Toru Guam Foundation is at risk of losing critical funding that makes these services possible.
It's going to be very difficult. It's a big setback in our efforts to ensure that especially those that don't have access to health insurance, who don't even qualify for Medicaid or MIP for whatever reason.
Dr. Dolores Lee is a physician with Toru Guam and said with the help of the Guam Cancer Trust Fund, they were able to establish the Hanamlu Pera Ifamalawan, which provides HPV vaccinations, cervical cancer screenings, and follow-up care. To date, they have been able to help 2,000 patients. Dr. Lee broke it down even further.
We have seen an unusually high number of abnormal results. Compared to my private practice, where I care for insured patients who have regular access to medical care, the abnormal rate at Toru Guam is about 4 times higher. And the majority of these cases are women who have a history of abnormal results and who know they need follow-up care, but they could not receive care because of a loss of or lack of insurance.
She adds, with the funding from the Guam Cancer Trust Fund, they can continue to provide essential preventative care to the island's most vulnerable. Jonagan Charfris, KUAM News.
Now for a look at your world at home.
Here's a view captured of the Maina River.
I'm here with Kirsten Gillibrand, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand from New York. We used to work together in HUD, and I've known Ginger for a long time. I followed your career, all your foreign policy expertise, all your war work, actually. I think it's amazing you're running for Congress, and I'm excited to serve with you in Washington. Our job is to serve you. Our job is to help people. Ginger is built for this job. She's going to make an amazing member of Congress. We can't wait to serve with you. Thank you for running.
I'm Ginger Cruz for Congress, and I approve this message.
Let me win!
But if I cannot win,
let me be ready in the attempt!
Come join us at the Dedido Sports Complex for the Special Olympics Softball Jamboree on October 19th from 8:30 in the morning till 1:30 p.m. Support these athletes and keep their dream alive.
Want a real taste of New York? The classic New York-style pizza offers a big, bold taste that's a Guam favorite. It's handmade with 16 inches of foldable crust, a sweet marinara sauce, and your favorite topping. And at 30% larger than our large, classic New York pizza is only $12.99 for carryout. Bring together your family and friends for a classic New York pizza party. Each pizza is just $12.99 for carryout. Classic New York-style pizza, so close you can taste it. Only at your island Pizza Hut.
An active and proud bowling scene has always been a part of the Guam sports community, but perhaps more than ever, it's a great time to grab some shoes and be at the lanes. And no one appreciates this momentum more than Joey Miranda, because for a long, long time, he's been at the forefront of expanding it and taking us to the next level.
This is, for me, 30 years in the making. I tried to get this on board since, 1991. And I'm just so glad that we finally got both ISA and IIAG to commit to the program, and it will definitely help us tremendously as we move on into future events for international bowling.
And the much anticipated upcoming high school league will feature both public and private schools.
We have about 12 to 13 schools in the high schools that will be competing in this year's league. So that's a great turnout for us, and we're hoping that those numbers translate to more bowlers for that program.
There's also a golden opportunity for those who choose to teach the sport.
We'll be hosting a coaching seminar on from October 9th to the 12th. And that will be facilitated by the former coach of the Singapore national team. We also have the U22 local tournament that will be held on October 12 and 13. So we're hoping to see all our youth bowlers come down. I mean, we'd like to invite everybody from the two bases and anyone else who's willing to partake in the tournament to please join us for that event.
There's also big chances for young adult bowlers to showcase their skills.
With the hopeful increase of the number of competitive bowlers we can derive from this event, we're looking to hopefully be able to move or get the next caliber of players to represent us internationally. I'm currently working with the Oceania region in putting together a Oceania tournament, and as the elected president of the Oceania Bowling Federation, I'm working with both our counterparts down in New Zealand and Australia, and in the hopes of expanding bowling within the region.
For Miranda, it's the realization of a vision to get bowling to the next level on Guam.
This was a dream of myself and Gordon Chu. When we started putting things together back in the 80s and 90s, and finally seeing it into fruition, it's basically a dream come true. So what more can you ask for, you know?
In times of uncertainty, trust is what leads the way. The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
Looking for the best value for your family's connectivity? Save big with GTA's Choice Bundles. Get fast internet, unlimited wireless, entertaining digital TV, and reliable home phone, all in one convenient package. The more services you choose, the more you save. Over $1,000 per year. GTA is the smart choice. For a limited time, bundle internet and wireless and get 3 months of free internet plus a $300 Visa gift card on us. Bundle and save with GTA Choice Bundles.
This burger looked at one slice of melted cheese and said, more cheese. It looked at pickles and said, also onions. It wanted to be more than hot. It wanted to be juicy. This is the Quarter Pounder with cheese. If you thought one napkin for the Quarter Pounder with cheese was enough, it's not enough.
Don't need to work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me, count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
The love is here because, guys, we're not just building another awe-inspiring structure that's going to blow people's minds. We're also helping people in our community.
Absolutely. So we are partnering up with the charity Be Heartfelt, which collects donated cans of food for school kids in need. So we have Lori downstairs. She is taking donations from passersby, canned food items. We've got tons of T-shirts for sale, and so every bit of every bit of money, every dollar, every can of food will go 100% to helping kids on Guam.
Okay. Now let's talk to the other architect here, Landon, way over there. Landon, how high up are we now? And I know you guys are planning on completing construction, putting the last. Okay, apparently that's cool. How close are we to complete construction, and what are we building?
Yeah, we're building the Taipei 101, and we started today at 14 feet 4 inches, and so this is, I think, our day 5 of building. And so we're planning 9 days total to get all the way up to the glass. So we're going to build this up to 23 feet tall. And then we have this spire assembly that's going to be another 5 feet on top of it. We're going to try to wedge it right up into the skylight and hopefully touch the glass.
Okay, now you guys always one up yourselves. You guys actually are in the Guinness Book of World Records for constructing the largest structure of Lincoln Logs. What makes this Taipei building so unique? Because you guys always take up a different challenge every year.
Yes. Yeah, this one's unique because if you see it, we have some custom-made logs in here. The traditional notching strategy is about that far apart. Well, we got some custom-made logs that has twice as many notches in them. And so that's to help us incorporate the Taipei structure because it's got a little bit of a slant as it goes up with height. And so it's really hard to imitate that with Lincoln logs. So we tried to use these custom-made logs out of Minnesota with Clydesdale Cabin to try to imitate this. Once we get the tower complete up to the ceiling, we're going to put some additional attachments onto the outside of the tower to give it that greenish color that the actual tower in Taiwan has, but also to accentuate that slant, that outward slant.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
You can have fun with a day of makeup, magic, and more, and mocktails. Gotta love those. This is happening down at the Women's Business Center. It is Spook and Sparkle. It's a makeup class presented by the Dolly House. Make sure to check out dollyhousebeauty.com to get your tickets. That is on October 26th. The Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce and the Bank of Guam are presenting a seat at the table, the work-life balance myth. Is it a myth? Former Senator Regine Bisco Lee is going to be discussing that topic. That's also going to be at the Women's Business Center. This is on October 11th. Please make sure to get your tickets for that. And solidarity for safety is the theme that is going on throughout October in the CNMI because that is Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Domestic Violence Month. And on the 19th, the 2024 Miles of Hope 5K event will be held at the Tinian Fiesta grounds. Get involved, everybody, and be safe.
For birthday wishes.
Well, here's your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shout-out submitted on KUAM.com.
Joaquin Taisegui, this wonderful birthday shout-out is for you on your 62nd birthday. And your shout-out says, sir, to this man who continues to rock my world, your smile and the way you love me is all I need. We wish you happiness, joy, and many more years of wonderful blessings. Keep smiling, my love. I love you today, tomorrow, and infinity. The love of your life, Ned. So, Mr. Joaquin, happy birthday to you, and we wish you all the blessings in the world.
And that's your primetime show. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Destiny Cruz. Have a great evening and stay beautiful.
Catch Health, Home, and Lifestyle every Tuesday following KUM News Prime Time. We've got you covered with health and lifestyle news each Tuesday on the stations of KUM and our digital streaming platforms. Health, Home, and Lifestyle is brought to you by The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Hello, everybody. The trifecta has become Gina and I, because of course Liz is traveling as she is always doing, spreading the gospel of how amazing real estate is on Guam. So Gina and I are going to talk about Guam's real estate market, the opportunities therein, and what it can do for you. And more importantly, Gina, I know you were watching after the fact, because you didn't watch live, but you watched the Congressional Forum that we here at KUM put on last night. And one of your colleagues from the Guam Association of Realtors, Joanna Uggan-Ige, asked a very, very poignant question of the congressional delegates. So first of all, what are some of your thoughts on the two candidates and what they have planned for the topics of affordable housing and military buildup and things of that nature?
You know, listening to them, I have to say, you can't support both of them, right? But I have to say some of the points that were brought up were actually really key factors. I want to say that our congressional representative, whoever we end up electing, is going to be critical, because although we can't ask the federal government to fund everything we have out here, they are a great resource for some of the things that need to get accomplished. I agree with Ginger Cruz. I agree with what she was saying about infrastructure. Liz and I have been advocating that infrastructure is one of the critical key points. It's one of the missing ingredients here in Guam that is going to open up available development. Individual property owners, a lot of them don't have the ability to put in infrastructure, because I'm telling you, it is downright expensive. Getting
and
power
they did touch
installed.
on that. They did touch on the incredibly rising costs. And one of the things you may not have seen, Gina, not to interrupt you, but we also asked the question, many Guamanians that want to live here, want to make this their home, want to raise their family, and literally live and die here, are being priced out of paradise.
Absolutely. And I agree with that. So the infrastructure is a key point. If the government can somehow, if the congressional representative can somehow secure funding that would take care of infrastructure, and I would say, water, power, and roads. I think some of our areas, if they could find a way to get funding to open up some of the roads to some of these areas that are undeveloped, like Radio Barragata, parts of Radio Barragata, there are large parcels in the south and the north that don't have sewer. Areas that are already developed, like the Swamp Road area that is developed, a lot of families live there, but no sewer, and some of them don't even have water. If the government can find a way, if our congressional representative can find a way to source out funding for that, that's fantastic. The other thing is EPA regulations and the bill. So, I don't know if our congressional representative can help with the EPA regulations that apply to Guam and the overall process of getting building permits here on Guam. A lot of the developers that I work with don't even want to touch the idea of doing developments on Guam, because the time, the process, and the cost are so restrictive that by the time they get a permit for a project, you're 2 years down the road. And they just, time is money. They're not going to spend their time doing that when we're in a situation where the rising cost of building doesn't, by the time they're done with the houses, they don't know if there's a market to buy. But here's the thing that I want to promote. GURA, at one of the hearings that we attended, a representative from GURA was there, and he said that their vouchers, their families, they are short 6,500 homes for low-income family recipients. And then the military has come out and said, listen, we're looking for private public joint venture concepts because the military is short 7,000 homes. And then we have the middle ground. We have the working class families, Jace, that you just mentioned. They're getting priced out of the housing market.
The middle class on Guam has basically dropped out at this point.
We have nowhere to go. They have.
You're either really, really rich and you can afford like the Tumon places and the Happy Landing Road, or you're not doing so well and you're possibly below the poverty line, but you can take advantage of government programs that will help you. If you're in the middle and you make like 40 to 65,000, that really doesn't bode well for you as far as like getting the home of your dreams.
Absolutely.
And that is crazy.
Or maybe not the home of your dreams, but just a decent home.
That's a good point.
Congressional Representative Moylan was saying that he's trying to advocate getting $400 million for military housing, and that's and to fund maybe using some of the hotels, abandoned hotels, for military housing. Yes, that's going to take military personnel and put them in housing just designed for them. But again, it doesn't address the issue with our working class families. And the Section 8 vouchers, they're finding a way, because Section 8 can afford, the Section 8 cost vouchers are much higher than the price point that a working class family can afford. So those two entities have groups that are representing their interests and pushing them forward. But I really like the idea of the infrastructure, the road improvements, water and power, sewer systems getting put in island-wide and paid for, maybe, federal government funding cooperation of Guam Waterworks here and the local government. I want to promote the idea that maybe our congressional representative can work with our senators to find a way to streamline a building permit process. These are the kind of things that we really need their help on.
Okay, now let me ask you, Gina, and then this is I'm going to turn the tables on you, if I may, because in all the years that we've been working together and doing this wonderful segment that so many people appreciate, and thank you guys for always letting us know and sending us your questions, right? But all the decade that we've been working together, you've always said that you have always taken whoever the sitting senators are to task, and you're holding them accountable to the job that we elected them to do, right? I'm struggling to remember if you have ever said you've had a direct audience with Congressman Moylan or Mike San Nicolas before him, or even Madeleine Berdal before him, on topics of real estate or land use or anything like that. Have you ever directly dialogued with the congressional delegate?
Yeah, so
you have, okay.
San Nicolas, absolutely. Moylan, I've not. I mean, we've spoken to him through the Guam Association of Realtors, and that's usually our platform. But no, not directly about these issues.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just during COVID, things kind of slowed down in terms of our real estate work. But I mean, the pricing of properties really went up tremendously, even during COVID, even though the amount of people we're working with slowed down a little bit because we had really, really tough restrictions coming in and leaving Guam. But after that, the real estate pricing has just gone up tremendously. The military buildup is starting to impact our community. We still have more rentals now than we do bodies to fill them, but that's going to, it's going to eventually, demand is going to fill in that gap. But what we're looking at right now, what really worries me right now is the lack of construction going on in Guam. The lack of, I had always thought that the senators who have a direct impact, like for instance, Senator Sabina Perez, she works with EPA and to some degree, she has oversight on what's happening with Guam Waterworks. That position, I would think, would be one of the strongest positions if this was her philosophy, to encourage these agencies to move forward and put in the infrastructure, or not relax, but streamline the process to getting building permits.
Get ready to soak up the savings this summer at Kmart. Since 1995, Kmart has been the ultimate summer destination for everything you need. From groceries to outdoor living to everyday fashions for the family, we've been there for you. 24 hours a day. Kmart is committed to saving you time and money by offering big international and American brands you know at prices incredibly low. Whether you're finding the perfect shade for that summer glow in our beauty care aisles, firing up your summer cookouts from top brands like Weber and Kenmore, or gearing up for those outdoor camping and beach adventures, Kmart's your one-stop shop for an active, fun-filled summer. So, join the fun and soak up the savings. You'll find everything you need and more, only at Kmart, the ultimate shopping destination in Guam, where savings, quality, and summer fun meet under one roof. Kmart, your 24-hour superstore.
Hey, I got the job. So I can go part-time. Yes!
Some days bring new opportunities. First Hawaiian Bank can help you say yes to making the most of them. Manage your accounts, earn cash back, and when you need advice, we're here for you.
We should really get him into an art program.
No matter where your journeys take you, you can bank on the best. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
You ask anybody here who's getting a building permit, where does your building permit get stuck? EPA or Parks and Rec? Those two agencies can basically break or make a development project. Because when it's, for instance, I was trying to get a building permit for a house in Talafofo. It took me 8 months to get my building permit out of EPA. And it was because, my lot is not a half-acre lot. It's down in Talafofo. I'm not over the aquifer. But of course, EPA has its process. But can you imagine a developer trying to build housing here in Guam and having his process, his building permit process, sitting there for 8 months while you work out the bugs? They're not going to do that. Time is money for them. And if they're not making money by decreasing the amount of time it takes to do this, they're not interested in building houses for the benefit of our community.
And, you know, we always tend to talk about, you know, what this would mean for Guam's permanent residential community as far as like having more houses in our available inventory and, you know, like the military that's coming over too. But I mean, there is evidence to suggest that having a very, very healthy real estate market is going to draw other people from other parts of Micronesia, mainlanders coming here to enjoy. Because the reason I brought that up is, remember, Gina, maybe around 2006, 2007, there was that huge surge of Guamanians who all split. Most of them were teachers because there were a lot of teaching positions available in Reno, Nevada, and land was very, very cheap, and you could get a house for like a really good price. Unfortunately, the 2008 financial crisis happened and the bottom fell out. Most of them came back. But that kind of is testament to, you know, if you have a good housing market and, you know, housing is available and everything like that, you can actually bring in warm bodies to fill them and to the benefit of your economy.
Well, absolutely. You know, we have families from Saipan. I mean, it's a small community, right?
Yeah, good point. Yes.
But we have
Thank you.
families from Saipan that are constantly contacting us looking for housing. But JCS, we want to attract people from off island, but immediately within the next couple of years, we have so many families here who just can't afford the housing here for them is substandard. They're either living with another family member or they're in units that they've outgrown already because they can't afford to get into a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom, even though that's really what they need. And so we need to encourage development. And the reason I brought up Senator Perez is because I personally don't find her to be an advocate for helping streamline the process for developers or even just families who want to build on their properties. I don't find that to be the case. And there's a handful of senators down there. Personally, my feeling is once you're elected, you're there to represent all the people, Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter who you are. You've been elected and you're going to represent all of the people. And housing here is an absolute necessity. Affordable housing is in demand. And nobody seems to be concerned about that. We're all happy in the homes we're in, but we need to realize that unless we address this issue with housing here, we're going to continue to lose our families. Where, you know, the workforce here, businesses here are dying because they need workforce. And you can't attract people to move here if they realize that housing here is so expensive.
And to be completely frank about it, Guam cannot afford another massive brain drain like we saw during the pandemic, where you have all of these incredibly talented, ambitious, motivated people with legitimate skills and certifications and degrees, and they're all bailing because they go somewhere else. I mean, we can't afford that again.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, you know,
the economy will suffer big time.
Yeah. But it's happening right now. You know, Jason, almost every month we run into families that say we're leaving because the 2 key points: I can't afford the cost of housing in Guam. Medical is such a worry. It's a worry thing. You know, they worry about their medical. Either somebody in the family is sick or they're concerned that when they're ill, they're not going to have adequate medical. And then, of course, the third thing is always education. These are the 3 most critical pieces of the Guam economy. And I really hope that come this election, that we all make an effort to look at our senators, to look at our Congress people, and really make some, you know, spend some time listening to them talking, going on YouTube and watching testimony from their previous, hearings, and finding out how they stand, and vote for the senators that are going to fight for our community, fight for being able to build on Guam, having the government be responsible for infrastructure. I know it's not a popular thing to say the government needs to be responsible for infrastructure, but in all honesty, if our families cannot afford housing in Guam, how do we then expect to say, but the infrastructure is on you? If you want to build, go ahead and put in the water and the sewer. It doesn't connect. The government has to step in and provide that. And yeah, whoever we vote into Congress, I hope that they're a strong voice, a strong advocate that can bring in those resources. And then our senators here on the ground, they need to be advocates for the community as well, to understand that our working class families here, they need somebody to represent them and say, the military has a representative, our low income families, anybody who works represents them because we're contributing, right? We're contributing and we want them taken care of. The federal government is contributing by allowing the vouchers for housing. Our working class families, they need an advocate for them as well. They need affordable housing.
And you know, to be fair, I was there in the room last night, and both Jim Moylan and Ginger Cruz, they solemnly swore, they looked the crowd directly in the eye, and they promised to be, should they be elected, to be very, very transparent, very, very accessible. And they do realize that a lot of the issues that we have on Guam are longstanding, and they're very multidimensional. I mean, these are not simple problems to solve. They're very, very complex, but they would say they would be accessible to the special interest groups like yours at the Guam Association of Realtors.
House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
In this upcoming election, it is vital that we vote our values. So I'll be voting for Senator Tony Ada. Tony is an effective advocate for acceptance, economic opportunities, and gender and racial equalities. He devotes a lot of time in helping about with our nonprofit organizations on island. Sa paparating po na eleksyon, huwag po nating kalilimutan, Tony Ada para po sa Senado.
I'm Tony Ada, and I approve this message. Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo's Select Care.
Half a day, I'm Claire Calvo, bringing you your weekly renewal. Today I am here with John Borja, who is an elementary school teacher as well as a member at Synergy and a select care provider.
That is correct.
Thank you for being here, John. So I want to first talk a little bit about your role as a teacher. First of all, thank you for, teachers don't get enough credit, and after the pandemic and lockdown and having to be with my son and try to do that whole schooling online, I have a much deeper appreciation. Of course, I always appreciate teachers, but now it's to a whole other level. So thank you for that. And I want to also talk a little bit about how you bring yoga to your students. Years ago, when you invited me to teach, I've come there to teach dance, to teach Zumba, or different things, but yes, yoga as something that we stuck with. What made you decide to open this, the kids up to yoga?
With yoga, for me personally, when I take yoga at Synergy, I'm an active person, and my mind goes wild if I'm not. But with yoga, it calms my mind, right. And then the benefits of doing yoga too is I don't have to see a chiropractor when I work out. Usually they do stretches and things that I don't normally do.
Right, so like an internal massage, internal adjustments,
yes.
Right?
So it's mind, body, and soul.
Right, and you just thought because of those benefits, you wanted to share that with the
yes.
kids. Have you seen over the years, have you seen any kind of results with the kids practicing?
When I first started with the kids and doing it like on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
you could see the difference. In the beginning, they were kind of like challenging. It was like,
right.
oh my gosh, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
But as when they adjust to it or get used to it, they want to do it the next day. It's like, when are we gonna do yoga again?
Isn't that great?
Yes.
I feel like kids, they're like sponges, and whatever you give to them, they're you know, like you said in the beginning, I know they, especially with yoga, they're kind of like, oh, I can't keep still, and like, you know, get a little impatient.
Yes.
But after a few minutes, for some, you know, they're all different, but they dive in and they want to, even for like 30 minutes. I'm surprised how focused that they are. And I feel also when we start with something a little more energetic like dance, they get all their energy, all their, you know, they want to shake and move, and then they're ready to just slow it down and find some equanimity.
I find that true, yes.
And so yoga is one aspect. So I know you, like you said, you're very active, you pretty much work out every day. And yoga is something, how long have you been practicing?
Probably like over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
Mostly like in the gym.
Right. And then for how long have you been offering it for the kids?
Maybe about 4 years.
For the past 4
Yes.
years.
Yes.
And that is 4th grade.
That is correct.
Right, okay, great. Thank you so much for that. I think if every school on island, especially the primary, you know, grades, I think we would really see a great effect and results from that. Especially, you know, this day and age where there's a lot of focus on bullying because it's so prevalent, whether it's just face-to-face bullying or even cyberbullying. And I think it would be great to implement something like this. I wish we had a program where we could implement this. I don't mind coming all the time whenever you need me to, and I know you do a great job yourself, but if this was a program that we could implement throughout all the schools.
Well, Wedding Yale, our counselor, Mrs. Kalata, we have like Monday, Mindful Mondays, and then Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, and in the morning for like 30 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
It's Zoom now, so sometimes I forget what day it is and I don't zoom in at the time. But
wait, so you zoom in from the classroom and what are you watching? Where is it taking place?
Mrs. Kalata in her office.
Oh, so she'll just do it in her office. Oh, that is wonderful.
Yes, it's a great program for the kids.
That would be a good, like if you did some sort of, I don't know, some sort of
follow-up.
Yeah, follow-up and see how it goes over the next year or so. And thank you all. I will see you next time for part 2 of this series.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo's Select Care.
I'm a guy that came from nothing, that has worked hard to get where I am. I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to work hard. I know what it takes to get things done. I've helped our nation win wars. I've done many things in the community. This election is not about my next career. This election is not about a salary bump up from what I make. This election is about my kids. This election is about your kids. We need to help Guam. I want to work hard for them, and I want to work hard for everybody else and everybody that calls Guam home. My name is Vince Borja, and I approve this message.
Something is calling, and I can't help it. Let's not be wrong when there ain't no soul. Watch me as I go. This is my mood when I make a move. Watch me as I go. This is my mood when let's take a break. There's no use. My mood when I make a move. This is my mood when
In times of uncertainty, trust is what leads the way. The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
Health Check is brought to you locally by Island Cancer Center.
For this week's Health Check, the Guam Circle of Care program was first established by the Payless Community Foundation through a grant from the Guam Cancer Trust Fund, and for the month of October, the program will be offering cancer support and psycho-oncology services to the community of Guam.
Cancer patients and survivors living in Guam and members of their support team, including family and friends, are invited to participate in the Circle of Care program, which provides cancer support and psycho-oncology services. The Circle of Care program was established by the Payless Marcus Community Foundation through a grant from the Guam Cancer Trust Fund. All services provided are free of charge. Circle of Care's weekly online cancer support group is held every Tuesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. The group is facilitated by licensed clinical psychologist Dr. Ian Twaddle and extension educator Marie Benito. At the beginning of each group session, speakers will give presentations on cancer support services available on island. Speakers for the month of October include on the 15th, Dr. Hayo-ji, who will discuss pain management, and on the 22nd, Ann Keith will share her personal cancer journey. And on the 29th, Dr. Rachel Leon Guerrero from the University of Guam will share details from the Cancer Research Center. They also have in-person cancer support groups that's held every first and third Saturday at 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Payless Corporate Office HR Training Room. The group is facilitated by Twaddle and Benito, as well as cancer care specialists from the community. A nutritional light lunch and snacks are provided. The next session is October 19th with Linda Frank with Restorative Yoga. She is a Yoga for Cancer certified instructor, and also Dr. Arlene Diaz with Art for Healing. She has a PhD in education and art therapy. And finally, individual and family psycho-oncology counseling cancer patients and members of their support team can meet with Twaddle, Clinical Psychology Associate Dr. Cameron Meno, or one of the assistant facilitators for the individualized support as they go through their cancer journey. To schedule these services, you can email Twaddle at psychology@triton.uog.edu or contact Benito at 671-687-5723. For a complete calendar of events, visit paylessfoundation.com. Health Check is brought to you locally by Island Cancer Center.
Thanks for watching Health, Home, and Lifestyle. Stay healthy.